That's right. Amazing. Alright, so guys, welcome back. We've got an interesting one today because it's not the day vlogs, it's not the week ones. We're doing some meal prepping today. I'm going to walk you guys through what I eat, the ingredients, the protein sources, the carbs. So yeah, that's it from here, and then I'm going to get you guys in the kitchen. You guys can get to see what we're going to do. Alright, so carbohydrates, this is what's going to be incorporated in the main meal. So we have sweet potatoes. Now, most of the carbs here is going to be just the potatoes. We've got some normal, like fluffy Maris's potatoes. I don't even know what these are. They're just normal potatoes, that's what it is. Anyways, goes through some vitamin A and potassium, and then obviously these are going to be our seasonings. So what we're going to make is we're going to make roast potatoes. That's all we're going to make. So we've got sea salt there, black pepper. And we're really going over the board with these seasonings because we're just trying to keep it basic. So we've got basil here, and then also we've got all-purpose seasoning here. And then yeah, that's it for the carbohydrates. Alright, so we've washed our potatoes already. We're gonna start just cutting them down. Now these, no, that's not dirt, that's fine, that's just potatoes. So I like the skin on, that's just how I like it. So what I just do is I first just cut it in half. Cut them again. And then cut these again. And that's really it. I just like to cut these into quarters. The ends on them, don't really like them, so I just cut that off. Cut these off, put them on the side. And then same thing again. That's literally it, that's what I do with the potatoes. Now we've still got a fat bowl to do, so I'm going to get these done off camera, and then I'll show you guys at the end what it looks like. So I use olive oil. Obviously we put it in a glass jar as soon as we get it. We're just going to sort of eyeball it, just go around. It's definitely not 10 mil, so I'll definitely do a lot more. But to be fair, we have a lot more potatoes than we're thinking. And get an accurate measurement of what that actually was. But yeah, so the oil's in there. These are the seasonings I use, so I think I showed this earlier. We've got salt, pepper, basil, and all-purpose seasoning. Honestly, you don't really need to do too much with this because it's just going to be roasted anyway. So I'll just chuck in some seasoning on this. I do dollop quite a lot of seasoning on this as well because it's the most voluminous part of the whole thing, and you just, if you're going to be eating the same thing every day, you want it to be as tasty as possible. So yeah, I load it up with seasoning. There's no harm in doing so. It's not going to change the atmosphere of the meal. You know, the meal's going to stay the same. So there's no point in fostering this, oh it's going to be too much, or oh I don't want to do this much. You know, do what benefits you. I like a little bit of crispy saltness and that heavy salt. That just gives a real good taste. I don't have another spatula, so I'm going to use this one. It'll get the job done. And that's it. So I'm going to catch you guys in a minute. I'm going to put this all on a tray and you guys can see what happens next. Alright, we've bought some grease-proof baking paper on there. And then we're just going to chuck our potatoes in. I mean, look at what a voluminous carbs. So yeah, that's literally it. And did you know what it is? It's just so fucking easy to do. Like, it's so easy. And the thing is, it actually tastes really good as well. You know, you want what's easy. What's efficient is what people should be going for. I like to spread it out evenly just because I want them all to cook. Now, if it wasn't so much, I would put some. I would chuck in some vegetables in there, get a nice little vegetable mix in there. But if you could smell this as well, the aroma from all the seasonings as well actually just has a good smell. I try and get all these white sides up as well, and the orange sides, basically the inside out. Alright, so seasonings in the bowl. It's a bit mashed up, but I tried to make it look pretty. So we got salt, which is somewhere at the bottom, black pepper. You got onion granules, which I fucking love these. These are like my, you know, this is my, it's my perfect thing that I need. We got crushed chili pepper, and we've got paprika, and then some rosemary as well. Now I don't know if this is going to be enough or not, because usually I only make about half a kilo, but this is 1.5 kilos, so we'll see how that comes out. But yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the chicken in the bowl and layer it up with the seasonings, so we're not putting it all on top, so that only a few bits of the chicken actually get the most of it. So we want to try and disperse the seasonings as much as possible, and then give it its good nice mix that it deserves. But yeah, I'll show you guys that now. Also, before any of you come at me, I have washed my chicken already, so no one come at me. I'm just going to use a spoon and basically scoop up the chicken, chuck it in at the bottom of the bowl, and then I'm just going to throw a little bit of seasoning on top. Oh god, there's a horrid smell that just came in. I don't know where that's just come from. But yeah, that's literally all it is. Now I don't know how I'm gonna cook this just yet. I don't know if I'm gonna cook it on the pan or if I'm gonna throw it in the oven. Throwing in the oven is actually the best in my opinion, because if you throw it in a small dish, you can actually just you can essentially reduce the dryness in the breast. So a lot of people think that breast is the most driest part of the chicken, and it is if you cook it incorrectly. See, the best way to cook it, and if you want to maintain that moistness, is actually to roast it in the oven in an enclosed dish, and that way you don't get it all messed up. Alright, chicken's all done. Now before my camera battery dies, I'm going to go and put this on the pan. Actually no, on the pan, I'm going to put it in an oven dish, and then you guys can see how that works. But yeah, chicken and roast potatoes are going to go in together, and it should be all done in the next couple of hours. Wow, that is it. I mean, we've seasoned the shit out of it. Also the lighting is just poor, so it looks black right now. Also, guys, this is also one of the cheat codes as well. Diet lemonade, 0 calories from Lidl. It's also cheap. It's like £1.60 for the entire pack. But yeah, that is the chicken all done. We're gonna throw this in the oven and hopefully it turns out nice. And yeah, that is it. Okay, so everything's now done for meal 1 and half of meal 2. So we have this is very dangerous. I'm doing it like this. Got the potatoes here, ready to go in. Now I need to double check what I didn't put that in right. I need to double check what the cooking is going to be for this one. And then last but not least, we have the chicken as well. And this is literally it. This is all we have to do. Now, with this chicken, the only bad thing that I would say that happens when you cook it like this is you do get this like sort of watery residue that's left, and it's like about half away on this dish. But that's not a bad thing. That's what helps the breast actually stays nice and moist. Top and bottom heating, obviously on my own I can change it around, so leave on like this, and then that's it. I'm going to leave on for about 10 minutes and then come back. Alright, so chicken is all done. That is it. I mean, look at that. Let's zoom in on that actually. Hopefully this will be an alright angle to do. If I can grip on this. Fuck me. That is perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. I'm going to put the ISO down again so you guys can see. There you go. That is the roast we wanted. This is the roast potatoes. And it's just, that is just it. Now I'm going to leave this in the oven just to stay warm. But that is all we have to do. That is it, guys. We'll do the same with the chicken as well. Because we're going to eat this later on, and I'm sure you guys how I play it. Alright, so mincemeat's now being rendered, so we're going to let it render on the pan for a little bit. I'm going to go find a spatula because I can't find one. I don't know where they've all gone, but they're missing. Alright, actually I've got one. We'll use this one. So, it's going to start rendering down, and it's going to start pushing all that fat to the bottom. So, to maximise that, we're just sort of going to break up a little bit. My cat's here. Hello. Hey, Sky. I'm just going to let it go down. And you know, we just want the fat to sort of just render for a little bit, so I might just leave it like this for a little bit here. I'm going to let it cook down a little bit, there's a lot of fat to go down. And then I'm just going to prep my seasoning. So now I usually put this much in because to be honest, actually no, I put this much in really because I do re-salt after. So it's like sort of, you know what I mean? And then I'll throw some chilies on top. I'll throw a bit more in, to be honest, because again, we've got more here. I have actually put a couple, about 300 grams to this side, uncooked, because I'm going to make some patties in a minute. While this is cooking, I've got my steel pan that I'm going to use. I'll throw a little bit of chili flakes. Honestly, I don't really want to put much in there. Perfect, yeah. So all we're going to do now is just going to break it down, give it another mix. Yeah, so letting it cook, throwing some green chilies in. Do you know what? I'm actually going to add some tomatoes as well. Fuck it, why not? I don't see why not. Let's just add it in. There's no harm in adding some fucking vegetables in what you eat. Do you know what I mean? Now I could add some potatoes, but that's pretty useless because I am already having this with potatoes. So yeah, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about the meal plan. So this, right, the idea is I'm gonna actually throw this in on top of the potatoes. So it's gonna be like sort of like a loaded fries meal. But obviously, yeah, we just chuck this on top and let it cook. I'm gonna give it a mix around, let the tomatoes sink in. But what's it called? I usually would throw in potatoes and stuff like that, but it's sort of useless, to be honest, because we are going to be having this with potatoes anyway, you know? So sort of defeats the purpose a little bit. Now I like to let the tomatoes soak in the bottom a little bit more, sort of let the fat cook it, and obviously when it finishes, I'm gonna add another one actually because it's like 1.5 kilos, isn't it? So yeah, the tomatoes just help bring it a little bit of a fruity flavour in it. I don't see why not. It's one of those things, like if you can add it in, why don't you just add it in? You know what I mean? So give it a go. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So throw these in, and then I think that's it. Now, luckily I'm blessed. I live at home with family, so I don't need to sort of buy much ingredients. It's mainly actually just the meat I need to buy. So if you think about it, meal prep wise, I'm spending £30 a week on protein sources. Granola I'll buy once in a while. I don't need to buy that much. Milk I would barely buy. Again, myself, I barely have that much milk, to be honest with you, so there's no point me individually buying so much. But yeah, that's pretty much it for here. Alright, so we've got meal number 1 there, and we have meal number 2 here. It's a bit red on the camera, but we've got chicken and potatoes, a little bit of cheese on top of that. And we've got minced meat and potatoes with some cheese on that. So these are going to be sort of our lunches, to keep us more full. And then obviously we have our chicken still here, and minced meat still there, some leftover. And then obviously we've got some rice here now. And once this is done, this will go in the last boxes we have remaining. And then that's it. Okay, back in the gym, did our upper today. Come back, obviously mum's boiled some rice for us, so rice is all done. First thing we've got some chicken and rice, obviously, minced meat and rice as well. We've got a protein mix here just because I have no protein left, no carbs left, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to roast potatoes later on in the week and then just chuck some in there for the last remaining day. We've got some meat fest here. Got another one here. Again, this is just potatoes, cheese and minced meat, that's all it is. And the same thing here, but with chicken, and with chicken there as well with the potatoes. It's all whole foods, really. It's all whole foods, really. And, you know, just being able to present the food like this, it's amazing. Now, we didn't make 10 boxes to eat. I've already eaten one because I had it for dinner. And that is pretty much it. So, while the video is playing, you should have seen, I'm going to put it in during the video. But I'm going to have, actually no, after this little talk, I'm going to go through some of the clips and just show you guys the macros for everything. And just, yeah, and also the cost spend of everything. Now, I'm assuming this is around about £30 for 5 days. This does not include breakfast and dessert. Dessert's going to be like Greek yogurt. Breakfast is going to be some boiled eggs and dates. There's going to be a little bit more to this daily intake, but that will be for another video.